The autumn wind bit at my face as I walked up the driveway, my work bag heavy on my shoulder. It had been a long Tuesday shift at the hospital where I worked as a medical records clerk. My feet ached, and all I wanted was to drive to the grocery store before it closed. But when I looked up, my stomach dropped. The driveway was empty. My 2019 Honda Civic was gone. I stood there for a moment, my brain refusing to process what my eyes were seeing. The spot where I always parked, right next to the mailbox, was completely vacant. No shattered glass suggesting a break-in. No oil stains indicating a tow. Just empty concrete and fallen leaves scattered across the space where my car should have been. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and called my brother Tyler. He answered on the third ring, his voice casual and unbothered. "Hey, what's up?" "Tyler, where's my car?" My voice came out sharper than I intended. He laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, yeah, I sold it. Got a pretty good price, too. Some guy came by this morning with cash." The world tilted sideways. "You what?" "Relax, I needed the money. You can get another one." Then he hung up. "My name is Jordan Matthews. I'm 28 years old, from Columbus, Ohio, and if you're watching this, please subscribe to my channel for more stories like this one." You won't believe what happened next. I stood in my driveway, staring at my phone screen, certain I had misheard. I called Tyler back immediately. It went straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. My hands were trembling now, not from the cold, but from pure rage mixed with disbelief. I walked into our mother's house, the house Tyler and I had grown up in, the house where he still lived rent-free at 32 years old, while I had moved into my own apartment 2 years ago. The living room was a mess, as usual. Empty pizza boxes stacked on the coffee table, video game controllers scattered across the couch. I went straight to Tyler's room and pushed open the door. He wasn't there, but something on his desk caught my eye. My car keys. Except they weren't whole anymore. Both keys had been snapped cleanly in half, the jagged metal edges catching the light from his window. They lay in his trash can, tossed aside like garbage, like they meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. I picked up the broken pieces, feeling the sharp edges dig into my palm. This wasn't just about selling my car without permission. This was deliberate. This was him sending a message. He could have kept the keys, could have returned them, could have done anything else. But he broke them. He wanted me to find them like this. The humiliation burned hotter than any anger I had ever felt. I called our mother first. She answered on the second ring, her voice bright and cheerful. "Jordan, honey, what's wrong?" "Mom, Tyler sold my car. Without asking me. Without telling me. He just sold it." There was a pause. Then, "Well, did you need it right now?" My jaw dropped. Did I need my car? "Mom, it's my car." He had no right. "Jordan, please don't start drama. You know Tyler's been having a hard time finding work. Maybe he needed the money for something important. Then he should have asked me. He should have." "You're being dramatic. It's just a car. You can share mine for a while until you figure something out. I really don't think this needs to become a big thing." I hung up and immediately called my younger sister, Veronica. Surely she would understand. Surely someone in this family would see how insane this was. "Ronnie, you won't believe what Tyler did." Mom already texted me. "Look, I get that you're upset, but maybe just let it go. You know how Tyler gets when people confront him. It'll just make everything worse. Let it go." He stole my car. Technically, it was parked at Mom's house, so I hung up before she could finish. My own family. My own blood. And not one of them was on my side. The next morning, I woke up to my alarm at 5:30, the same as always. Except this time, I had no car to drive to work. I checked the bus schedule on my phone. The nearest stop was 2 miles away, and the bus wouldn't get me to the hospital until after my shift started. I called my supervisor, Patricia, and explained the situation as calmly as I could. Her response was ice cold. "Jordan, this is the third time this month you've had transportation issues. I don't care what your personal problems are, you need to be here on time. Consider this your final warning." But I had only been late twice before, and both times were because of bad weather. I wanted to argue, wanted to explain, but the dial tone told me the conversation was over. I spent $40 on a rideshare to get to work, $40 I didn't have in my budget. When I arrived, I was still 7 minutes late. Patricia marked it down without looking at me. That evening, when I finally made it home, I saw Tyler's car in Mom's driveway. I walked inside and found him in the kitchen, wearing brand new sneakers and scrolling through what was clearly a new iPhone. The latest model. "Nice phone," I said quietly. He looked up and grinned. "Yeah, got a good deal on it." Over the next week, I started noticing how people in our extended family were treating me differently. At our cousin's birthday party that Saturday, Uncle Wesley barely acknowledged me. Aunt Pauline gave me a tight smile and quickly walked away. Even my grandmother seemed distant. I cornered Veronica in the hallway. "What's going on? Why is everyone acting weird?" She sighed. "Tyler's been telling people his side of the story." "What story?" "There's no story. He stole my car. He's saying you owed him money. That the car was payment for a debt you refused to settle. He made it sound like you were being unfair by making a big deal out of it." My blood ran cold. That's a complete lie. I never owed him anything. "I know, but you know how Tyler is. He's convincing. And Mom's backing him up, saying you're overreacting because you've always been jealous of him." "Jealous? Of what exactly?" Veronica shrugged. "I'm just telling you what people are saying. Maybe if you just apologized and moved on." Apologized? For what? But she had already walked away, leaving me standing alone in the hallway, my reputation quietly being shredded by lies I couldn't fight. Tyler had always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. And I was the responsible one, the boring one, the one nobody defended. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Tyler's lies, about how easily everyone believed him. Around midnight, I got up and started going through old files in my closet, looking for anything that might help me prove the car was mine. And then I found it. A folder I had forgotten about, tucked behind my winter coats. Inside were copies of everything, the loan agreement with my signature, showing I had financed the car entirely on my own. Insurance documents in my name only. Repair receipts from the 3 times I had taken it to the mechanic, all paid with my credit card. Registration papers. The title. Everything was in my name, not Tyler's. Not jointly owned. Mine. I spread the papers across my bed, my hands shaking as I photographed each one with my phone. This was proof. Undeniable. Legal proof that Tyler had no claim to my car, no right to sell it, no justification for anything he had done. But even as relief washed over me, I felt something else. A deep, cold anger. Because I knew what this meant. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't Tyler making a mistake. This was theft. This was fraud. And he had done it knowing exactly what he was doing. The next morning, I called in sick to work and made an appointment with a lawyer. Her name was Ms. Hernandez, and her office was small but professional. She listened to my story without interrupting, her expression growing more serious with each detail. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair. "What your brother did is called conversion. He took property that belonged to you and sold it without authorization. Depending on the value of the car and how he represented ownership to the buyer, this could also constitute fraud. So, I can sue him? Absolutely. You have clear documentation proving ownership. The question is whether you're prepared for what comes next." "What do you mean?" Ms. Hernandez folded her hands on her desk. "Family lawsuits get ugly, Jordan. Your brother will fight back. Your family will take sides. You might win the legal battle and lose relationships permanently. I need you to understand that before we proceed." I looked down at the folder in my lap, at all those documents proving I was right. I thought about Tyler's smirk, about the broken keys in his trash, about my mother telling me to let it go. "I'm prepared," I said. 2 days later, my mother called. Her voice was sweet, almost artificially so. "Jordan, honey, I want you to come to dinner on Sunday. Just family. We need to talk about everything and clear the air." I should have known better. I should have heard the trap in her tone. But I was tired, and some part of me still hoped my family would finally see reason. Sunday evening, I walked into Mom's dining room and immediately knew I had made a mistake. Tyler sat at the head of the table, relaxed and confident. Veronica was there, along with Uncle Wesley and Aunt Pauline. They all looked at me like I was the problem. Mom gestured to an empty chair. "Sit, sweetheart. We want to help you through this difficult time." Difficult time? Tyler explained everything to us, Uncle Wesley said. About the debt, about how you've been struggling financially. "We think the best thing for everyone is if you just forgive this and move forward." "There is no debt," I said slowly. "Tyler lied to you." "See." Tyler spread his hands. "She's still in denial. I tried to help her, and this is how she treats me." Aunt Pauline nodded sympathetically. "Families should support each other, Jordan, not attack each other." The dinner got worse. For an hour, they took turns explaining why I should forgive Tyler, why I should be the bigger person, why family was more important than material possessions. Tyler sat there the entire time with this subtle smirk, barely hiding his amusement. At one point, he even joked, "You know what they say, one person's trash is another person's treasure." I just helped Jordan clear out some useless stuff she wasn't using anyway. Everyone laughed. My own family laughed at a joke about selling my car without permission. Something inside me went cold and hard in that moment. I stopped trying to explain. I stopped defending myself. I simply sat there, silent, watching them talk about me like I wasn't even in the room. When the dinner finally ended, Mom hugged me at the door. "I'm so glad we worked this out, honey. See? Communication solves everything." We hadn't worked anything out. They hadn't listened to a single word I said. But I smiled and nodded and left quietly because I had made a decision. I was done trying to make them understand. I was done hoping they would choose me. I was done with all of it. From now on, I would rely only on myself. Over the next month, I became a ghost in my own family. I stopped answering Mom's calls. I stopped going to family events. I picked up extra shifts at the hospital, working doubles whenever possible, saving every penny I could. When Mom offered to let me borrow her car, I refused. When Veronica texted asking if I needed a ride somewhere, I said no. I took buses, I walked, I paid for ride shares I couldn't afford. Because I refused to owe them anything. I refused to give them any leverage over me. My coworkers noticed the change. "You okay, Jordan?" Patricia asked one afternoon. "You seem different." "Just focused," I said. And I was. Focused on building my independence. Focused on never being vulnerable to my family's manipulation again. Focused on making sure Tyler faced real consequences for what he had done. At night, I worked on my case with Ms. Hernandez, gathering more evidence, preparing documents, building an airtight legal strategy. Tyler had no idea what was coming. None of them did. Ms. Hernandez managed to track down the man who bought my car. His name was Vincent, and he agreed to meet me at a coffee shop downtown. He was in his 50s, a mechanic who had been looking for a reliable used car for his daughter. "I'm sorry about all this," Vincent said, sliding a folder across the table. I had no idea it wasn't his to sell. Inside were copies of the bill of sale, the title transfer documents, everything from the transaction. And there, clear as day, was my forged signature on the transfer paperwork. Tyler had signed my name, trying to make the sale look legitimate. "Can I photograph these?" I asked. "Keep them." I made copies for myself. Vincent shook his head. "Your brother seemed real convincing. Told me he was selling it because you moved out of state and didn't need it anymore. I feel like an idiot for not checking more carefully." "You're not the idiot here," I said quietly. I spent the next hour with Vincent, going through every detail of his interaction with Tyler. The more he told me, the clearer Tyler's plan became. This wasn't impulsive. This was calculated. Tyler had researched how to forge documents, how to sell a car that wasn't his, how to pocket the money without getting caught. Until now. Ms. Hernandez sent the demand letter on a Wednesday morning. It was formal, legal, and left no room for negotiation. Tyler had 7 days to return the full value of the car plus damages, or I would file a lawsuit. Tyler called me within an hour, his voice panicked and shaking. Jordan, what is this? A lawyer? Are you serious right now? Completely serious. You're going to sue your own brother over a car? What's wrong with you? I stayed calm. You stole my car, forged my signature, and sold it without permission. Those are crimes, Tyler. Not a family disagreement. Crimes. I didn't steal anything. I needed the money, okay? I was desperate.
Can't you understand that?
Then you should have asked me.
Or gotten a job.
Or done literally anything besides committing fraud. Jordan, please.
I'm sorry.
I'll fix this. Just tell your lawyer to back off, and we can work something out between us.
No.
What? I said no. You made your choice when you broke my keys and threw them in the trash. You made your choice when you lied to everyone about me. Now live with the consequences. I hung up while he was still talking. 3 days later, Tyler showed up at my apartment. I saw him through the peephole, standing in the hallway with his head down, looking defeated. Against my better judgment, I opened the door. What do you want? He looked up, and his eyes were red. Jordan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I messed up. I know I did. But I'm trying to change. I'm looking for work. I'm going to pay you back, I swear. For a moment, I almost believed him. He looked genuinely broken, genuinely remorseful. My hand hesitated on the doorframe. Please, he said. I'm begging you. Don't sue me. It'll destroy my life. I'll never recover from this. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A voicemail notification. I glanced at it. It was from 2 hours ago, before Tyler showed up. I hit play. Tyler's voice came through the speaker. Mom, she's not backing down. I tried talking to her, but she's being impossible. Whatever.
Let her sue me.
I'll just file for bankruptcy, and she won't get anything anyway. Stupid. I looked up at Tyler. His face had gone pale. Get out, I said quietly. Jordan, I didn't mean, get out of my apartment.
Now.
He left without another word. I closed the door and locked it, my hands shaking. Not with fear or sadness, but with clarity. That performance, those tears, that apology, all of it was fake. And if I hadn't accidentally heard that voicemail, I might have fallen for it. A week later, Ms. Hernandez called me with news that changed everything. Jordan, we've been digging into Tyler's finances as part of the case. We found something you need to know about.
What?
The money from selling your car? It didn't go toward bills or rent. He used it to pay off gambling debts. My stomach dropped. Gambling. Apparently, he's been betting on sports online for the past year. He owes money to some serious people. We found threatening messages on his social media, creditors calling your mother's house. This was more than just needing cash. He was desperate. I sat down on my couch, processing this. Tyler had a gambling problem. He had gotten himself into debt with dangerous people. And instead of asking for help, instead of being honest, he stole from me. There's more, Ms. Hernandez continued. Those people he owes money to, they're still looking for him. And they're not patient. What does that mean for the case? It means Tyler's situation is worse than we thought. He's already been threatened. If we push forward with this lawsuit, he might lose everything. His credit, his housing, everything.
Good, I said.
Ms. Hernandez was quiet for a moment. Jordan, I have to ask. Are you sure you want to proceed? This is going to get very ugly. I thought about the broken keys, the lies, the fake tears, the voicemail.
File the lawsuit, I said.
The lawsuit was filed on a Thursday. By Friday morning, my phone was exploding. 17 missed calls from Mom. 8 from Veronica. 5 from Tyler. Dozens of text messages, each one more desperate than the last. I ignored them all and went to work. When I came home that evening, there was a letter taped to my apartment door. It was from Mom, handwritten on her flowery stationery. Jordan, I can't believe you would do this to your own brother. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? Tyler made a mistake, but we all make mistakes. You're being cruel and heartless. If you go through with this lawsuit, you're no longer welcome in this family. I read it 3 times, waiting to feel something. sadness,
guilt.
regret. But all I felt was a strange sense of peace. Because her letter confirmed what I had known deep down for years. In this family, I would always be the scapegoat. No matter what Tyler did, no matter how badly he hurt me, I would always be the one expected to forgive, to forget, to sacrifice. I took the letter inside and put it in my folder with all the other evidence. Then I texted Mom a single sentence, "I'll see you in court." 2 weeks after filing the lawsuit, something unexpected happened at work. Patricia called me into her office, and I braced myself for another lecture about my attitude or my schedule. Instead, she smiled. "Jordan, how would you feel about taking on more responsibility?" I blinked. "What do you mean?" "We're creating a new operations manager position. Someone to oversee records management, coordinate between departments, handle administrative logistics. The pay increase is significant, and I think you'd be perfect for it." I stared at her, certain I had misheard. "You want to promote me? You've been picking up extra shifts, you're always on time now, your work is meticulous. You're exactly what we need." She slid a folder across her desk. "This is the offer. Take a few days to think about it." I walked out of her office in a daze. That evening, I opened the folder and looked at the salary. It was 40% more than I was making now. Enough to move to a better apartment. Enough to buy a new car outright. Enough to rebuild my entire life. I called Ms. Hernandez. "I'm accepting a promotion at work. I'll be financially stable soon. Very stable." She laughed. "Perfect timing. Tyler's lawyer is trying to argue you don't really need the money from the lawsuit. This destroys that argument. You're not suing out of desperation. You're suing on principle." Exactly. The mediation session was scheduled for a Tuesday morning. I arrived early, wearing my best professional clothes, my folder of evidence organized and ready. Tyler showed up 10 minutes late, looking rumpled and nervous. The mediator was a stern woman named Ms. Cooper, who clearly had no patience for nonsense. She listened to Tyler's lawyer present his side first. "My client admits he made a mistake in judgment," the lawyer said. "But this was a family matter that escalated unnecessarily. He's willing to offer a payment plan to settle the debt." Ms. Cooper turned to me. "Ms. Matthews?" I opened my folder and began laying out documents. The title in my name. The loan papers with my signature. The insurance records.
The repair receipts.
The photographs of Vincent's paperwork showing Tyler's forged signature. Tyler's lawyer's face went pale. "Where did you get those?" "From the buyer your client defrauded," I said calmly. Ms. Cooper examined the forgery evidence closely. Then she looked at Tyler. "Mr. Matthews, did you sign your sister's name on these title transfer documents?" Tyler's jaw worked, but no sound came out. Finally, he muttered, "I didn't think it was a big deal. It was just paperwork." "Just paperwork?" Ms. Cooper's eyebrows rose. "You committed forgery to sell property you didn't own. That's fraud." Tyler's lawyer tried to interrupt, but Ms. Cooper held up her hand. She spent the next hour going through every document, asking Tyler questions he couldn't answer without contradicting himself. By the end, even his own lawyer looked disgusted. A week after mediation, Vincent called me. "Jordan, the court order came through. I have to return the car." My heart leaped. "Really?" "Yeah, but I have to warn you, it's not in great condition. I bought it to fix up for my daughter, but I haven't had time to work on it yet. There's some damage." When I went to pick up the car, I understood what he meant. The bumper was cracked. There were dents along the passenger side. The interior smelled like cigarettes. Tyler must have damaged it before selling it, probably trying to lower the value so Vincent wouldn't ask too many questions. I sat in the driver's seat and wanted to cry. This car had been perfect when Tyler took it. Now it was ruined. But then Vincent said something that changed everything. "Have you contacted your insurance company? If Tyler damaged the car while it was in his possession without your permission, that might be covered." I called my insurance company that afternoon. After reviewing the police report I had filed and the court documents, they agreed. The damage would be covered under my comprehensive policy. They would pay for all the repairs. 2 weeks later, I got my car back, fully restored and detailed. It looked better than the day I bought it. Ms. Hernandez requested a full financial audit of Tyler's activities as part of the lawsuit discovery process. What she found was worse than any of us expected. Tyler hadn't just sold my car. Over the past 2 years, he had taken out credit cards in Mom's name without telling her. He had borrowed money from Uncle Wesley and never paid it back. He had stolen cash from Veronica's purse during family gatherings. He had even tried to take out a loan using our grandmother's information. Ms. Hernandez spread the evidence across her desk. This is a pattern, Jordan. Your car wasn't an isolated incident. This is who Tyler is. Does my family know about this? Not yet, but they will. This evidence will be presented in court, and it's all public record. I thought about Mom's letter calling me heartless, about Veronica telling me to let it go, about Uncle Wesley saying family should support each other. They had all enabled Tyler, protected him, made excuses for him. And the whole time, he had been stealing from all of them. Make sure every detail goes on record, I said. The evidence went public on a Friday. By Saturday morning, my phone was ringing again, but this time the tone was different. Uncle Wesley called first. Jordan, I owe you an apology. I had no idea about the credit cards, about the money he took from me. I'm so sorry for not believing you. Aunt Pauline texted. We were wrong. You were right all along. Veronica called crying. He stole from me, Jordan. From his own sister. And I defended him. I'm so sorry. But the call that mattered most came from Mom. Her voice was small and broken. Jordan, I need to tell you something. I found paperwork in Tyler's room. He tried to take a second mortgage on my house without telling me. The bank rejected it because I didn't sign, but he tried. My own son tried to steal my house. She started sobbing. You were right. You were right about everything. I should have believed you. I should have protected you. I'm so sorry. I sat on my couch, listening to her cry, feeling nothing. No satisfaction. No vindication. Just emptiness. I need time, Mom. I said finally. I understand. I need you to know I'm sorry. 2 weeks before the court date, Tyler's lawyer called Ms. Hernandez with an offer. Tyler would plead to a lesser charge, pay full restitution, and agree to mandatory counseling. In exchange, we would drop the fraud charges. What do you think? Ms. Hernandez asked me. What happens if we go to trial? We win. No question. But Tyler could face jail time. And honestly, Jordan, I think he needs help more than he needs punishment. I thought about that. Tyler had a gambling addiction. He had made terrible choices, hurt people, destroyed relationships. But he was still my brother. Somewhere under all the lies and manipulation was the kid I grew up with. Before I could answer, Ms. Hernandez got another call. She put it on speaker. This is Dr. Bennett from County General Hospital. Is this Tyler Matthews' attorney? Yes, what's going on? Mr. Matthews was brought in this morning. He's claiming he had a mental breakdown, but our psychiatric evaluation is showing some inconsistencies. We think he might be faking symptoms to avoid legal consequences. Ms. Hernandez looked at me. He's trying to manipulate the system again. The social workers investigated for 3 days. Their report concluded Tyler was exaggerating symptoms and attempting to use mental health as a legal strategy. His act had failed. The courtroom was small and sterile, nothing like the dramatic scenes from TV shows. Tyler sat at the defendant's table, looking smaller than I had ever seen him. Mom and Veronica sat in the gallery, both crying silently. The judge reviewed all the evidence, the title documents, the forgery, the financial records, Vincent's testimony. Then she looked directly at Tyler. Mr. Matthews, you had multiple opportunities to make this right. You chose deception at every turn. This court finds in favor of the plaintiff. She ordered Tyler to pay me the full value of the car, plus damages for the time I was without transportation, plus all my legal fees. The total came to over $15,000. But more than the money, she ordered something else, a public record of Tyler's fraud. Anyone who ran a background check on him would see this case. Employers, landlords, banks, everyone would know what he had done. Tyler's lawyer started to object, but the judge cut him off. Your client forged documents and defrauded a legitimate buyer. He's lucky we're not pursuing criminal charges. This ruling stands. As we left the courtroom, Tyler tried to approach me. Jordan, please. I walked past him without a word. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Tyler's landlord evicted him after running a background check for lease renewal. His credit was destroyed, making it impossible to rent anywhere else. Mom let him stay in her house for 2 weeks before finding evidence he had stolen from her again, this time, her prescription medication to sell. She called me crying. I told him he has to leave. I can't do this anymore. I can't enable him. You made the right choice, Mom. But where will he go? That's not your problem to solve. Or mine. For the first time in his adult life, Tyler had to face real consequences without someone bailing him out. He moved into a cheap motel on the edge of town. Uncle Wesley refused to loan him money. Veronica blocked his number. Aunt Pauline told him not to contact her family again. Tyler was completely alone, finally experiencing what it felt like to have no one defend you, no one make excuses for you, no one protect you from your own choices. I didn't feel happy about it, but I didn't feel guilty either. 6 months after the court case, I sold my Honda Civic. It was repaired and running perfectly, but I didn't want it anymore. It carried too many bad memories. With the settlement money from Tyler and my savings from the promotion, I bought a brand new Toyota Camry. Nothing flashy, nothing expensive, just reliable and completely mine. I paid for it in full, no loan, no payments. Just walked into the dealership and wrote a check. That same week, I moved into a better apartment closer to the hospital. 2 bedrooms, a balcony overlooking the city, a parking garage where my car would always be safe. I furnished it slowly, carefully, choosing each piece myself. On my first night in the new apartment, I stood on the balcony with a cup of coffee and looked out at the city lights. For the first time in months, I felt at peace. Not because Tyler was suffering, not because I had won, but because I had chosen myself. I had set boundaries. I had fought for what was mine. I had refused to be a doormat. And I had built a life I was proud of, completely independent of my family's approval. 3 months later, I got a Facebook message from Tyler. I almost deleted it without reading, but curiosity got the better of me. Jordan, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know I hurt you in ways I can't take back. I'm in a program now, working on my gambling addiction and trying to understand why I did the things I did. I'm not asking you to forgive me or have me back in your life. I'm just asking you to know that I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. And if there's ever anything I can do to make this right, I'll do it. I read the message 3 times. Part of me wanted to believe he had changed. Part of me wanted to reach out to rebuild some version of our relationship. But I knew better now. Tyler had shown me who he was, over and over again. The broken keys. The lies. The forged signature. The fake tears. The stolen money. The manipulated family. The faked mental breakdown. People could change, maybe. But they had to want to change for themselves, not because they faced consequences. I typed a response. I hope you find healing, Tyler. I really do. But I'm choosing to move forward without you in my life. I wish you well. Then I blocked him on every platform and deleted the message. 2 days later, I got in my car, my beautiful, paid-for, completely mine car, and drove to work with the windows down and the radio up. The autumn air was crisp and clean, and the morning sun caught the buildings just right, turning everything gold. I thought about everything I had lost, my relationship with my brother, the illusion of a perfect family, the naive belief that blood always meant loyalty. But I thought more about what I had gained, self-respect, independence, the knowledge that I could stand up for myself and win. I had learned who I could trust and who I couldn't. I had learned that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. I pulled into the hospital parking garage, locked my car, and walked inside to start my shift.
Free.
Respected. Unbreakable. And I never looked back.